Hello and welcome to Remove Before Launch. No, this is the second video, and I decided that after freezing to death in December, we'd come out a little bit later in the year with the sun out-ish. And we've decided to get up in the morning and it's 2 degrees. So my hands are going blue, but I'm going to try and get through this. Yeah, don't know what went wrong. It's been glorious sunshine and suddenly freezing to death again. So yeah, it's gone well. Today we're going to give you a quick run through on my daily driver. Now, this also will lead me to my dilemma, which is what do I get next? Because I am really actually quite confused because I've had this car far longer than I expected, and the reason being is I don't know actually what to replace it with, and I will explain. So let me give you a quick overview of what the car is. This is, as you'll see, it's not new. This is an 11-year-old BMW 135i Coupe. So it's not just your standard, well, it is your standard coupe, but it isn't, because it's got the 3-litre twin turbo lump shaft in it, and this is the original twin turbo. So it does have the, not the twin power turbo as the BMW likes to call it now, it's actually the proper twin turbo unit, which I've heard in comparison is a little bit more interesting on the pickup, but there you go. Anyway, this is it, just to give you a bit of an idea. Basically it's blue. There you go. No, it's quite a compact, interesting shape. I quite like the coupe style. Not everybody does. I know it's one of those like it or hate it type cars. Personally, I like it. It's a little bit different to the hatchback that most other people have got. And also the fact that it's got the 135 lump shoved on it also allowed for a slightly wider track, slightly flared arches, and just, you know, the sort of M styling on it made it a little bit more interesting when it came to looks and appearances. So what was interesting about this car is being the 135, I don't know if BMW ever anticipated putting an M model together or not, because they sort of shoved out, what was it, a few hundred at the very end of the life cycle of this car. So with that in mind, they did seem to put a lot of kit on this car. So not only have you got the, obviously, the lump, but you've got a it had some pretty interesting sort of suspension setup. It's got, what hints at it being a highly spec car was the brakes on it as well. If we have a look down here on the slightly grubby wheel, actually 6-pot calipers on the front, which is some pretty juicy brakes, and in some respects they're, well, the seem almost like a better setup than what you've got on the what was then the M car. Now, I'm sure some engineer will correct me and tell me I'm wrong, but I've heard rumours, don't know how true this is, but that these brakes are actually in some respects better than what was then on the M car. Because I know they're 4-pots, but they're the M Tech, drilled discs, etc. But these 6-pots are pretty juicy. They do give a lot of performance. The car is, what I like about it is the fact that it's pretty practical. You can get 4 adults in it. You've got a decent sized boot. You could easily go away for a weekend, pretty long journeys. Okay, you wouldn't want 4 sort of 7-foot giants in your car, and you wouldn't want to go far like that. But if you just had 4 people, which you've done plenty of times, just trekking out somewhere, it's more than comfortable. Coupled with the fact that you've got 306 brake, you've got a shed load of torque as well, and you've got a car that is pretty quick compared to a lot of the stuff out there now. And now, bearing in mind this is 11 years old, if you look at the way the sort of engines developed over the years, yeah, I know they're up to sort of yeah, you got about 340, 360, depending on which guys you've got the engine in. But you are looking at not huge leaps in the performance difference, and also because it was the original twin turbo, it's actually slightly better on the pickup. Now, if you looked at the torque curve on it, you'd see that it kicks in, so you get up to about 1500, 1600 revs, you're pretty much at max torque. By the time you've reached 2000, you're absolute max torque, and the power band is all the way through to about 5,500, and then okay, it does drop off a cliff a bit, but you've got a huge band of power. which makes it very interesting and very quick compared to a lot of stuff out there that's far newer. So okay, you've got hot hatches and everything else now that are pumping out 300 plus brake, but it still gives them a bloody good run for its money. And there's been a lot of other cars that are quicker, performance cars, you know, some real high performance cars, and they do get a nasty surprise with this car when they can't get away from it. So I'm just on a bit of dual carriageway here, just to give a bit of an idea on the in-gear time. So we're currently doing 50 in fourth, and if I put my foot down now, I'm doing 60, now we're up to 70, and that's in fourth. So you can afford to be, like I said, a little bit lazy. If you wanted to, drop it down a cog, pick up a lot quicker. You know, that's the other thing, if you do hook this car up properly, off the line, etc., it does hunker down and really get going. So it's quite impressive. You know, it gets the old neck muscles twitching. It's a quick little car. It's not, you know, shouldn't be underestimated how quick this is. You know, and when you look back over the years, Boxsters, you know, were well under 300 brake, some of them, and you know, even the 911 wasn't, you know, your standard Carreras and that were about sort of 320, that kind of thing. You know, so that's why I was saying about it being the potential of it being a bit of a performance car bargain, even though not everybody will agree, and I'm sure everybody has their opinions on what else you can buy and what else is out there, etc. But yeah, I don't think you should underestimate just what performance this car gives you. And it's a lot of fun. It can be, you know, if you want to waste your tyres and take off the traction and everything else, it can, yeah, you can have some good times in it. So, but here we go, we're just coming down on the slip road now, and I'm now in third doing 40. Put your foot down now, and we're in 50 already, 60, up to 70 now. So it's, you know, that's an overview of my daily driver. Now the problem I have is this car's 11 years old, and that's a good enough reason for me to buy a new car, even though the car's perfectly fine, nothing's gone wrong with it, but in my mind I somehow need a new one. Anyway, I will justify it somehow, but my dilemma is I've got a 300 brake horsepower car. It's of an age where it's still got a lot of, it's not gone completely digital like a lot of cars are going now, so it's still quite an analog car in its own way, and it's got a really nice configuration, you know, big powerful lump up front, rear-wheel drive, good balance, good chassis setup, and it just drives really well and I enjoy driving it. And if I want to get something of a similar performance and possibly practicality as well and newer, then either I've got to get a 240, an M car, which is obviously where I really want to go, but then you've got to justify the expense on that, or I've got to look at something else. And the problem is, what do you get? What do you get that gives you this kind of package for not a lot of money? Because this car now, you can get a good one for well under 10 grand. So what do you get without spending ridiculous amounts of money to give you something similar? Or of course you go down the route which a lot of people are going down, is finance, which is the other option. Anyway, that's my dilemma. If you've got any ideas on what I should buy, please tell me, because I really am confused and had this car for way longer than anticipated and have been driving everybody insane, because every week or so I'm looking on Auto Trader or looking at or trying to justify something, going into showrooms and annoying everybody, and then not buying anything. So give me your thoughts on that. This has been removed for launch. Thanks for watching. Give us a subscribe, because we have 9 people so far, so we could really do with at least 10. At least I can say to people we're in double digits. That would be really helpful. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.